Welcome to Let's Talk with Tara, the space where real life meets real answers. I am Dr. Tara T. Stallings, counselor and coach, here to help you navigate life's toughest challenges. Together, we'll explore psychological insights, emotional healing, relational growth, and biblical truths to empower your journey. So grab a seat, lean in, and let's have the conversations that matter the most. What if the way you think, speak, and act is a direct reflection of what you believe spiritually? So today we're going to be talking about how spiritual beliefs influence natural behaviors. How your spiritual beliefs, they influence your natural behaviors. So there is a connection between spiritual beliefs and behavioral patterns. One is your core beliefs shape your actions. Your core beliefs shape your actions. So what you believe about God, what you believe about life, your purposes, it influences your choices and your behaviors. What do you believe? A person who believes in grace and forgiveness is more likely to extend that to others. But if you're a person that believes an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, you're not going to be forgiving as someone that believes in grace and forgiveness. So someone who believes that God is vengeful or a punishing God may struggle with fear, guilt, and legalism. And I want to slow up on that one because so many people have been taught in error. If you are a believer in God, Jesus Christ, the belief is he's a vengeful, punishing God, that he is waiting on you to mess up and punish you for your sins. And that's just not true. That's an error teaching that people have placed on God when he is. If that's the case, nobody would be here in the world. Nobody. It would be empty. It would be trees and animals. So what you believe, your core beliefs shape your actions, shape your behaviors, how you respond. Moral and ethical decision making. So how you make your decisions, the connection between spiritual beliefs and behavior patterns, how you make decisions morally and ethically. Spiritual beliefs provide a moral compass that guides many people in how to interact with others. Now, we've been taught treat people, well, I was taught, because I can't speak for everybody. You're supposed to treat people the way you want to be treated. Well, depends on how you want to be treated and what your core beliefs is, might be how you treat other people. If you want to be treated negatively, and I hope no one does, but some people have the mindset that because they did something wrong or they're not good enough, that they need to be treated badly. So they treat others badly. And this goes back to your moral and ethical, how you make decisions. If your core beliefs, how you've been taught, and your moral compass is positive, you're gonna have a mindset that's honest. You're gonna be a person that's honest. You're gonna have integrity. You're gonna be kind, and those mindsets, those beliefs, those teaching are rooted in your spiritual teaching. How you respond to adversity. People who believe in divine purpose see challenges as an opportunity for growth, rather than this is a hopeless setback. And so many people do that. When life happens, the new saying is, when life is lifing, people look at it as just at the situation like it's hopeless, that, or either God is punishing them, or what did they do wrong? Why me? They don't look at it as an opportunity to grow rather than looking at it as hopelessness. A spiritual belief and also how you respond to adversity is, sometimes a spiritual belief in spiritual warfare can lead individuals to engage in prayer and faith rather than feeling powerless. So sometimes when you're going through how you respond to adversity, your response, if your core foundation is prayer, warfare prayers. And what is a warfare prayer? Where you praying against whatever it is that's happening to you. That's what a warfare prayer is. So, and also then our habits and lifestyle choices. The connection between spiritual beliefs and behavioral patterns. What about your habits and your lifestyle choices? Religious and spiritual beliefs are often influenced 99.9% of the time by lifestyle habits such as avoiding, and this is if you are, I teach from the kingdom perspective. If you are a believer, avoiding harmful behaviors like substance abuse, gambling, dishonesty, promiscuity, that's fornication. If your religious and spiritual beliefs it's influenced by your lifestyle, your habits, what you do every day, not what you do sometimes, but what you do, what's part of your lifestyle. Also, when we talk about habits and lifestyle choices, your faith emphasizes self-discipline. So if you have a moral compass, your spiritual beliefs, and I don't care whether you believe in Jesus or some other God, or you have no belief at all, but you believe in something. Most teachings teach you to live in harmony. I'm going to say that. It teaches you have self-discipline. So, but as a believer, a kingdom citizen, your faith emphasizes your self-discipline, which contributes to a healthier lifestyle. So when we talk about these things, I want you guys to kind of think about your lifestyle, those people around you, how your spiritual beliefs influence your natural behaviors. Well, spirituality serves as a coping mechanism during stressful times. And it does. And sometimes this is even for atheists. It has been recorded that even atheists that don't believe in anybody, in a life or death situation, they call on God. They call on God. God, if you real, save me. That's the first response. So everybody has a God conscience. So spirituality becomes a coping mechanism during a stressful time. It provides a sense of purpose and meaning. Believing that suffering has a greater purpose can help individuals endure hardships and resilience. Kind of like what I said before, you look at your challenges as an opportunity to grow versus a hopeless situation. Faith can help people see beyond the immediate pain and focus on the long-term hope. But what I noticed, most people don't have faith. They have fear, hoping that it's going to be faith. And what do I mean when I say that? They say, oh, I have faith that it's going to turn around, but they're only promoting the fears that they have, the negative. But what if it didn't happen? What if, this happens? And it's always something negative. So when I use that term faith, so many people operate out of fear, thinking it's faith. They have the right terminology, but they believe something totally different. They focus on the negative rather focusing on the positive. In the spirituality serves as a coping mechanism during stressful times. Well, guess what? It encourages emotional regulation. What do I mean when I say it encourages emotional regulation? Well, guess what? If you have a strong spiritual belief system, you're gonna meditate, you're gonna pray, you're gonna worship, and guess what this does? It lowers stress levels and it promotes emotional stability. That is Isaiah 61. For the garment of heaviness, praise is a substitute for the garment of heaviness, and a garment of heaviness is nothing but stress, depression. That's all it is. It's praise for the garment of praise for the garment of heaviness, for heaviness. So, and many spiritual practices emphasizes gratitude, which shifts your focus from problem solving or from your problems to solutions or to blessings. It takes you from the negative thinking to a positive thinking, and that's what it does. When you think about using spirituality is used as a coping mechanism, well, guess what? It builds a supportive community. Faith-based communities offer emotional and social support during tough times. You have grief, all kind of things that a lot of faith-based communities they offer. They have grieving groups. They have so many different things that they offer during times. They have prayer groups during times of hard times that provide emotional and social support. You have spiritual mentors and leaders that provide guidance and encouragement. So there's things that we do that spirituality can become a coping mechanism. It shifts focus from self to a higher power. Now I want to kind of hone in on this one a little bit. Because I hear this all the time. I hear it all the time. I'm believing God in one sentence, but the next sentence, I don't know how I got here. I'm so tired of being here. Why did I get here? It goes from, it's almost like you're on a seesaw. 1 minute you're saying the right thing, but your core beliefs are speaking your truth. So using your spirituality, faith, as a coping mechanism positively, it helps you go from believing that you focus your focus is not on the problem, but your focus is on the problem solver, a higher power. Believing in a higher power reduces the burden of trying to control everything. What does belief mean? Belief means that you adhere to, you live by. Because so many people say, I believe in a higher power, I believe in God, and I believe that this situation, that he is going to work this situation out for my good. That's what y'all say. But, and I put a but there, but you trying to control the situation. You saying these words, but you're trying to control the narrative. You're trying to control how he does it. And that's not focusing on God. That's focusing on you solving the problem, and instead of praying, getting instructions, and allowing God to solve the problem through the process. Through the process. I'm going to say that again. Through the process. Faith fosters trust and surrender. I'm going to sit right there for a minute. Faith, real faith, fosters trust in the one God that you say you believe, and surrender. Let go of the control. You let go. If you trust in God and you surrender yourself to say, okay, God, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm surrendering this problem to you. I'm praying. I'm interceding. I'm seeking guidance. Guess what's going to happen? Your anxiety level is going to decrease. You're going to stop worrying so much. You can't fix it anyway. You worried about something that you cannot fix anyway. You have no control over it. If you did, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. Think about that. So why worry? You cannot fix it. You cannot fix it. It promotes resilience and hope. Using spirituality as a coping mechanism promotes resilience and hope. Belief in a divine intervention can help you endure loss and suffering. If you believe in God, you believe in His word, when life happens, when life be life, and as people say, as the young people say, life is life, and you will endure suffering and loss differently. Does that mean it wasn't hurt? It's not going to hurt? No, it doesn't mean that. Does it mean that it's not going to be emotionally painful? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you learn how to suffer well. You go through the process differently. That's what it means. Instead of suffering to where you tear down yourself mentally and physically, you learn how to suffer well, meaning you learn how to trust in God, go through the process, and grow through the process. Grow through the process. Scripture and spiritual affirmations serve as reminders of strength, endurance, and hope. That means you go from just quoting the scriptures or reading affirmations to believing them. And when you learn how to go from quoting and believing and applying them, then guess what? You learn how to suffer different in hard times. You learn how to grow through your heartache, your pain. You learn how to grow through life, because life, I don't care how great you think you are, life is going to happen. How spiritual you may be or unspiritual you may be, life is going to happen. How spiritual beliefs influence natural behaviors. How spiritual beliefs influence natural behaviors. What influences spiritual beliefs on mental health and interpersonal relationships. What are the influences of spiritual beliefs on mental health and interpersonal relationships? Well, mental health. Studies show that faith and spirituality are linked to a lower rate of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideations. Did you catch that? These are studies. Studies show that faith and spirituality are linked to lower rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideations. Spirituality provides a coping mechanisms like prayer, community support, and faith-based counseling. Faith-based counseling. That's what I do. I do faith-based counseling. Now I have people that I see that, they don't believe in God, but the principles are the same. The principles are the same, because you can find God's word in just about every principle. It might be tweaked a little bit, but you can find that. Positives. Here we go with positive and negative. Positive beliefs about God contribute to higher self-esteem and a sense of security. When you have a positive outlook, you have a sense of higher self-esteem and security about yourself, because you know who you are. You know what your purpose is. You know your you may not know the full plan of your life, but you start living out that plan for your life. How does the influences of spiritual beliefs on mental health and interpersonal relationships? Well, let's talk about interpersonal relationships. Spirituality often encourages forgiveness. It reduces resentment and conflict. Now, Let me say this, because I know I can hear some of you guys say, well, I see these people, they say that they quote scriptures, but they mean as a rattlesnake. Those people just quote scriptures. Remember, I said I'm talking from a kingdom perspective. And the first thing we talked about was self-discipline, because you cannot believe in something and you don't have discipline in what it teaches and apply it to your life. So I'm not talking to those people that are struggling with their faith, that are religious. They religiously do things and they don't have any foundation. They just do it. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about people that live whatever they believe. They live it. Not when it's convenient, but they live it all the time. So, with that being said, when it comes to your interpersonal relationships, it often encourages forgiveness. Now, I talked about forgiveness a while back. It reduces resentment and conflict. You learn how to forgive. Forgive. Forgiveness is not person so much, but it's for you. Because unforgiveness keeps you trapped behind a prison while the person is living free. When we talk about interpersonal relationships, it provides a platform for stronger marriages and family bonds. It's reported that when you have your core beliefs and you have a good foundation spiritually, your marriages are stronger, your family bonds are stronger, your relationships are stronger. Many faith traditions emphasizes humility, patience, kindness, providing it improves social interactions. Because if you're patient, you're kind, you have humility, guess what? People gonna want to be around you because you're so positive. You have integrity. You have humility. You're a happy person to be around. You're an encouraging person to be around. That's how it promotes interpersonal relationships. But then now let's look at this from another perspective. How your spiritual beliefs influence the influences have on your mental and interpersonal relationships, mental health and interpersonal relationships. Well, let's look at it from the negative perspective, potential negative impacts. Religious guilt. I kind of alluded to that a minute. Some beliefs can lead to feelings of unworthiness or fear-based obedience. Now, this is one that I see all the time, and people they give God a bad rap because they based on this strict religious interpretations that are not biblical, and it causes fear to be obedient. Oh, if you don't do it, God gonna strike you down. Oh, because you got cancer, you must be living wrong. That's crazy. That's not biblical. And I hate to use the word crazy, but these are things that people are taught. So they live in fear. Oh, God gonna strike you down if you say something, if you do something. And you hear people say, well, if I'm lying, let God strike me down. If God starts striking people down that told lies, it'll be a whole lot of people dead. If that's how he operated. That's not how he operates. He doesn't operate that. Grace and mercy. Grace and mercy. Judgmental attitudes. Let's talk about that. Strict religious interpretations may cause division in relationships. I see this with my clients because they have had these strict religious interpretations. It causes divisions in relationships. It causes division in relationships because you stuck on how you were taught. No love, no kindness, no long suffering, no compassion, and you become judgmental, and it causes divisions in relationships. It causes conflict in relationships also. A difference in spiritual beliefs between partners or family members can create so much tension. So much tension. I learned this a while ago when it comes to spiritual beliefs. If it's not a heaven or hell issue, why argue about it? If it's not a heaven or hell issue, because some of these things, these conflicts that people have about what they believe and what they don't believe, it's not a heaven or hell issue. And if you just pray and ask for instructions, ask for wisdom, ask for understanding, you'll get the truth of the answer. You'll get what you need. But most people don't do that. They stuck on what they believe, what they've always been taught, and it causes so much tension in between their partners, their husbands, their wives, their children, and members in their family. So there is a great connection between how your spiritual beliefs influence your natural behavior, what you believe. But remember now, you are a spirit. You have a soul. You live in a body. So your beliefs, you cannot see them. You cannot. So they are spiritual. Whether that you believe in the Bible or the Quran or Buddha, Confucius, whoever you believe in, or what your spiritual beliefs influence your natural behaviors. What you believe, you cannot see my words. Remember, we talked about they're spiritual. What you cannot see is spiritual. You can hear it, but they're spiritual. So spiritual thoughts deeply influence your behaviors, your mental health, and your relationships. When rooted in love and grace, faith, spirituality can become and be a powerful source for resilience, emotional well-being, and meaningful connections with others. So if you are struggling with your mental health, what you believe is a direct impact on your mental health, on your emotional well-being. So if you have a disturbance in your mental health, your emotional well-being, I'm going to ask you to check your beliefs. What are you believing about a thing? Because whatever you believe about a thing, you start acting, behaving about a thing. There was a new song out now, and it's a trendy little beat. It's dangerous because so many people believe in something that's so detrimental to them. Anxiety. Somebody's watching me. It's my anxiety. As long as it's your anxiety, you're going to always have it, and anxiety will always have you. Words are spiritual. So we listen to the beat and we sing those songs, and it's just a song, but you're just saying what the song is saying, and guess what? Your mind does not know the difference. Your brain doesn't know the difference in you singing a song because it's got to catch a beat or what's going to happen. For example, have you ever, and I've used this example so many times, been sleeping really good at night, thinking that you have to get up and go to use the restroom because you got to go use the restroom, but you're still sleeping in your bed. Your body doesn't know what your mind is seeing, what's going on in your dream, what you imagining. Your mind doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know that you're still sleeping. It only responds to what it sees. So guess what? You thinking you got up out of the bed, you walked to the bathroom, to the restroom, to use the restroom, and the next thing you know, you wake up to a puddle of wet urine because your mind doesn't know the difference. If your mind doesn't know the difference when you're sleeping, it doesn't know the difference when you're awake. It's spiritual. Spirit, soul. Your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions. It doesn't know the difference in what's tangible and what's not. So it's going to respond from what it sees. There is a spiritual connection between your spiritual beliefs and your natural behaviors. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk with Tara. If you found today's conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Let's keep this dialogue going. Follow me on Let's Talk Tara for more insights and encouragement. Remember, every step forward starts with an honest conversation. Until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, and keep talking.